When your cat stares at you and slowly blinks, do you actually know what they're trying to say? Yes, it looks sweet, calm, almost like they're just relaxed. But behind that simple action, there's something deeper that most people miss. It's one of the most emotionally intimate things your cat can do. And if you ignore it, which most owners do, you might be missing a message that's literally changing how your brain feels around them. Let's start with what that quiet little blink really means. Have you ever noticed your cat locking eyes with you and then slowly closing them? Most people think it's just a sign your cat is sleepy or content. But here's what's actually happening. Your cat is making a conscious social gesture. In the animal world, direct eye contact is threatening. It signals dominance or danger. So when your cat looks at you and then deliberately softens their gaze, they're doing the opposite. They're removing the threat. They're telling you, I trust you enough to be vulnerable right now. Think about that for a second. That slow blink isn't passive, it's active. It's your cat choosing to lower their guard in your presence. And by the way, if your cat ever stares at you and then looks away right after blinking, don't brush it off. We'll get to what that really means at the end, and it's something most owners wish they'd understood sooner. Because this isn't just about comfort, it's about connection. Now here's where it gets even more powerful. A 1999 study from the University of Sussex found that cats use slow blinking as a form of positive communication with humans. But here's what most people don't realize. When you respond to that slow blink, your brain changes. Human brains are wired to interpret soft eye movements as safety signals. It's the same system used in bonding between parents and infants. So when your cat slow blinks at you, your brain releases calming neurochemicals. Your heart rate subtly drops, your guard lowers. And when you blink back, your cat experiences that shift too. Behavioral scientists have observed that cats who receive slow blinks from humans become more relaxed and more likely to approach. So this tiny interaction, this quiet exchange, it's not just emotional, it's neurological. Your cat has learned how to tap into your brain's safety system, and that changes how you feel about them on a level you don't even consciously notice. Now you might think scent marking only happens when your cat rubs against you, but here's what's actually happening. Cats don't just mark territory physically, they also claim safety zones through repeated emotional signals. When your cat slow blinks at you, especially in the same places or routines, they're reinforcing you as part of their safe territory, not with scent, with association. Researchers who study feline behavior call this social anchoring. Your cat links your presence with calm, predictable emotional states. That blink becomes part of a pattern. You equals safety. You equals calm. You equals home. Think about that for a second. Your cat is building an invisible map in their mind, and you're at the center of it. And here's where it gets even more meaningful. Unlike scent marks which fade, this kind of emotional marking gets stronger over time. So every time your cat looks at you and blinks, they're not just expressing trust, they're reinforcing it. And hey, if this makes sense to you, hit like and subscribe. It helps us reach more cat lovers who actually want to understand what their cat is really saying. To really understand this behavior, you have to go back to when your cat was a kitten. In the wild, kittens are completely dependent on their mother. They rely on subtle signals to feel safe. One of those signals? Soft eye contact. Mother cats use relaxed blinking and slow eye movements to communicate calm and reassurance to their young. No sudden movements, no tension, just quiet presence. And kittens learn this early. They associate those soft visual cues with protection, warmth, and survival. Now here's the part most people miss. Your cat never outgrew that instinct. They just transferred it to you. So when your cat slow blinks at you, they're not just being affectionate. They're tapping into one of the oldest emotional systems they have. They're treating you like a source of safety, the same way they once saw their mother. And that makes this behavior far more than a habit. It's something deeply wired into who they are. Now think about this. Does your cat slow blink at strangers? At guests in your home? At people they don't fully trust? Most of the time, they don't. Because here's what most people don't realize. Cats are extremely selective with vulnerability. They don't offer it freely. they don't waste it. Every slow blink is a decision. Your cat is choosing you in that moment, not just because you feed them, not just because you're familiar, but because you've proven over time that you're safe enough to lower their defenses around. Think about that for a second. In a world where your cat is constantly assessing risk, constantly aware of threats, they look at you and relax. That's not small. That's rare. And it's something they don't give to just anyone. This is what most owners never realize. That slow blink, it's not just a statement, it's a question. Are you safe too? When your cat blinks at you, they're initiating a loop of trust. They're saying, I'm lowering my guard, will you meet me here? And this is where most owners get it wrong. They look away, they stay distracted, they miss it entirely. And nothing breaks immediately, but something subtle does. Because trust, for cats, isn't built in big moments. It's built in these quiet exchanges. Now, remember earlier when I said your cat might blink and then look away? This is what I was talking about. That's your cat testing the connection. If you don't respond, they disengage. Not dramatically, just slightly. Over time, those missed moments add up, and your cat becomes a little more distant. But when you blink back, everything changes. You complete the loop. You tell your cat, yes, I'm safe too. And that's when the bond deepens. Now, here's the part you shouldn't ignore. If your cat used to slow blink at you and suddenly stops, that's not random. Cats don't abandon meaningful behaviors without a reason. It could be stress, discomfort, a shift in their environment, even subtle health changes. Behavioral studies on domestic cats show that reduced social signaling often appears before more obvious symptoms, which means this: the absence of the blink can be just as important as the presence of it. So, if you notice the silence where there used to be connection, pay attention. Don't panic, but don't dismiss it either, because your cat may be telling you something, just without the words.